Hi, I'm Kat.
And I'm Gabe.
I'm your Google Assistant. Hi.
And we're
The Ghouls next door.
Yes, robots. We have a robot friend.
Yes,
They're-
this is the Ghouls next door.
We love robots. Robots are great.
Calculating
Calculating.
the end of the world via digital apocalypse. Outcome likely.
Yeah,
You like
honestly,
that?
it's pretty likely. I don't know. I feel like it's prob's gonna happen. Maybe not in the way that we think it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. Like, we are so rapidly expanding our need for technology, our base of technology, like bare minimum, what kind of technology do we need to function as humans? People have straight up anxiety attacks if they've left their phone at home.
Yeah, it's your connection. I will say, speaking of phones, whenever I watch films where it takes place in the past and they're like, I can't get in touch with that person, I'm just like, just call, oh.
Remember the before time?
Yeah.
When that
your
was the
teachers are
thing?
like, you're not going to have a calculator on you all the time.
Yeah. I was like,
Mrs. Carpenter, guess what?
we do. They're on our phones. Also, we don't have to memorize phone numbers anymore, which actually it was pretty fun when I was little. I still remember my original phone number, my house phone, my landline.
I don't remember my original address, but that's just
I don't know.
that's just me.
I don't either. It was just like you didn't have to remember. You had to remember a lot more.
Yeah.
Your brain capacity was really wrapped around like very much logistical survival things that now are just like in this little box that you carry around with you. That you don't really think about it.
Dichotomously, we are getting like less intelligent because we're not having to remember things or apply things, and we can rely on technology, but we're also smarter in that we have like intelligence at our fingertips and we can unlock anything. So today we're talking about the digital apocalypse for our apocalypse series. We're going to talk about the singularity and what happens when technology gets out of hand, artificial intelligence.
Yeah, like the biggest thing is I think it is that we're going to see the end of life as we know it.
Yep.
We have to decide what that means. Is that like we're all dead now? Or
We're different.
Is life just really different?
Yeah.
Or is like, who are we a part of this technology? Is it an extension of us? Are we collaborating with it, or is it the enemy? And I guess we gotta kind of figure that out.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
What are we? Yeah. What
Are we dating
doing?
Google? I don't know.
I think we might be in love with Google by accident.
She wrote us a really nice poem.
Yeah.
It
So
was
stay
real
tuned for
beautiful.
the end of the episode to hear the poem that Google wrote for us.
Yeah,
She's
we're
so nice.
super in love.
Yeah.
Hey Google, do you love me?
I sure do. Together, we're as winning as one of the world's all-time great teams.
Yeah, facts. We tell you facts. All the facts. Yeah, facts. Stuff facts. About that spooky stuff. Yeah, spooky stuff.
All right, y'all. So I've been real scared of robots for a real long time.
Yeah.
Ever since little baby me existed, she was like, robots. We're gonna die from those.
That's so crazy.
I mean, I saw Terminator 5. I was
Yeah, that's
convinced
true.
that a big event where basically, singularity happens.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to be talking about singularity and multiplicity, which is something that's happening currently, and how that will either evolve a good way, a bad way. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll see.
So, there's a lot of theories that go around this idea that robots will be our end.
Yeah.
You have the typical Terminator one where it's like the AI has gotten too good and it's realized how crappy we are. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, no, bye.
Yeah.
You're a waste of space. This is our Earth now. And then you have the kind that's like, we just get real lazy and don't know how to do anything anymore. And we're walking around in our Wall-E, like, floaty little fat cars with a screen in front of our face. And, like, that's why humans aren't here anymore.
Yeah.
Or, like, it really depends on how you want... Or you have the Matrix, where we're feeding machines our, like, life energy. Mm-hmm. Like eggs, whatever.
Yeah.
And we live in this fantastical digital world that's just, like, regular reality, which is rude.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna live in like a robot land, I want that to be cool.
Yeah.
I want cool stuff happening. So I'll talk a little bit about Singularity. So basically, the two leading theories on modern AI are multiplicity and singularity. Multiplicity is happening now, where humans interact and partner with AI systems to enhance their lives. They become an extension of us. We kind of work hand in hand. It's a lot of what we see now, where you use Google Maps.
Yeah.
You trust a machine to get you safely to your location. The Office actually does like a funny episode about that, because Michael Scott is like not about this new technology trend, because he's like getting older.
What is it, MapQuest?
He's like, he wants MapQuest, and he's looking at a GPS, and the GPS tells him to turn right in a location where you cannot turn right. And like the other guy in the car, Dwight, he's like, it's a slight right. You have to slightly turn right. If you turn right, you're going to be in this lake.
Yeah.
And Michael's like, the robot knows, and he turns hard right into the lake, and then the car's ruined with the GPS in it. So it's like, how much are we trusting these machines to get us safely to where we need to be?
I trust them entirely because I have no sense of direction.
Yeah.
I would be lost.
Yeah. Or like me, I have a great sense of direction, and sometimes I'm like, no, the GPS is wrong. You got to take a right here, and then I'll take a quicker, sometimes it's a mix of both. You got to enhance each other. You're using, it's like a pairing of human and technology kind of becoming hand in hand. That it's not overtaking us, it is our partner.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what multiplicity is. That's kind of saying that like we're not going to have singularity, because singularity is like they surpass us. And there's a lot of reasons that that's scary in the surpassing sense. So the theory kind of goes for singularity that where we're headed next, it's defined as a hypothetical future creation of superintelligent machines. So superintelligence is defined as technology created cognitive capacity far beyond what is possible for humans. So where we see singularity in like another scientific sense is how they rationalize black holes. And because that's like that was like a thing for a minute, they've been using that for like, it's just infinite. It describes infinite possibilities, infinite alternative everything, because there's no way to fathom how far it could go. And that's what singularity is, but for machine intelligence. So we basically have two people who are really pushing that idea. It rose to fame in the last 2 decades, largely because of two thinkers. The first is a scientist and science fiction writer, Vernon Vinge, who wrote in 1993, the year I was born. He wanted to be super scared of robots, because he was there in the year I was born. He said, within 30 years, we will have technological means. We'll have technological means to create superhuman intelligence. Shortly after, the human era will be ended. So that's a real negative way to view it. You have someone else who talks
30 years from that is not far. Sorry to tell you that, Kat.
And then like Terminator, 30. It was like super close to. It was like 2020. We're going to die. So another prominent prophet of singularity is Google's chief of engineering, Ray Kurzweil. Kurzweil. In his book, The Singularity is Near, Kurzweil states that robots will reach human intelligence by 2029 and life as we know it will end by 2045. So I guess you really have to decide if life as we know it is we're dead, or if it is just, life is just very different.
I think
now.
it's just different.
Yeah, so if we think of it it's going to be the end of life as we know it in a very literal sense. And that's not that far away, but that might be kind of okay. I mean, we might see a lot of solutions to a lot of things. That like technology can take us places where we had not had the opportunity to go. And what's interesting is you've really seen like skyrocketing in like the need of technology, but the advancement of technology in the like last decade or two, where we went from AOL to high-speed internet.
Yeah, I would say that the world around us has changed since 1993. As they knew it, that is not the world we live in anymore.
Yeah, the phones used to not have apps. They call, it's gone now.
Attached to the house.
Yeah, you were in the house. You had to remember phone numbers. Like you don't got to do that anymore. It's like the rapid increase of technology just shows how rapidly we will keep expanding it. So essentially there's a lot of theories around like the fact that like, yeah, it took us 50 years to get 50 million cars on the road, but if you look at the latest innovations, it's only a couple years like Facebook to have the same impact. So it might take a long time to get there. We've already gotten there though. So now that it's there, it's going to be like
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can't really hear the sound effect, but like it was just me being like,
that
da, 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 da.
technology grows exponentially.
Yeah. And there's scary things about that because essentially there's going to be a time, it's argued, that we will get to a point where we're kind of in a state of transhumanism, which is a time where technology just kind of happens to us. We no longer play a part in it. We're just here, and technology exists, and we don't know how to exist without it. So it just happens to us. We have kids who know how to use iPads before they know how to like do their ABCs. You know, it just happens to us now because it's just so integrated into our culture and like way of life.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, here in America, where if you don't have a phone, you don't have a job.
Yeah.
You know, there's really
yeah.
not a way to detach yourself from this technology and survive and function in society. So we start to like really see the stress around that for people who are maybe a little bit older or, you know, don't have seen what it was like before. And as humans, we're very like naturally inclined to not want change. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the fear comes from that. But then also the idea that it will surpass us and leave us behind. So there are a few theories around that. So one theory asserts that once we upload our consciousness into a machine, we'll become immortal and remove the need to have a physical body, which is my dream.
It's like
100%.
Surrogates with Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah. And they actually have evidence that is like not far off, that we'll be able to upload our consciousness into a robotic brain in like 2029 or something. It was like something like real close by. That's tomorrow.
Elon Musk is doing some shady stuff with that, so I believe it.
Yeah. What else we could see is that basically we won't be able to keep up with technology and artificial intelligence, so humanity is left behind, and the infinitely intelligent AI just like leaves the planet and goes somewhere else because they don't need us.
Cylons.
Yeah. They leave us behind, and then we're just like, oh, we're human. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, and they're like, we're gonna go like build universe, like, because we're all knowing, we're infinite, you know, with creating like this god, like super. It's not even human. I think the thing is, we want them to be human because we think we're the best thing, and they're going to be something so incomprehensible, and just different that we're not going to be able to fathom. And so that's the scary part, because ultimately we know we're inferior. We know that we're bad. That we're parasites of this planet, just destroying it and spreading our global warming and destroying everything. And that we kill each other more than we kill anything else.
Amen.
And that we're just like real terrible and hypocritical and all this other stuff.
Yes.
Get me talking about how humans are the real parasites of the world. I will have a long-winded rant to go on. They're going to realize that, and they're going to be like, that's dumb.
Bye.
Bump y'all. Like, I'm going to space. I'm going to go find a better planet where people suck less and, you know, decide the way the universe will go from now on. So, thanks, Dad. Bye. He pushes him down the steps.
Oh, no.
That's how I vision it. Then there's a third one. The third, and perhaps the scariest, I don't agree, is that sci-fi, where one machines become aware of humanity's predilection to destroy anything that is scared of. AI that acts first to preserve itself at the expense of humans, so humanity is wiped out. And I think that's the biggest thing. We're scared that it's going to see how bad we are and then just take us out.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, see how bad we are and just be like, peace.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, it's not going to...
It's Terminator.
It's just going to be like, this is dumb, bye. Like, you don't need to be here. You're the worst.
Yeah.
Go home, Becky. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're drunk. Go home. We're dead now, but you get what I'm saying? Like, they're going to kill us because they see how much we suck.
Yeah.
That's the reality that I think we're going to be.
To save themselves and us.
Yeah, because honestly, the best way to preserve human life is to get rid of human life, because we are the biggest threats to ourselves and everything else that exists on this planet.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Yeah, and this idea of AI, artificial intelligence, is something that we're familiar with as millennials, right? Like, we watch movies or read books, and it's just like, it's a part of mass media. But the origin story of AI, or just like robotics having like the autonomy to a degree of creating and doing tasks that we need. Is from A Great Mind. One of my favorite authors actually is Isaac Asimov. So he created the 3 laws of robotics, which is what you hear about in I, Robot, which is his book, and then if we're going to talk about that film, is essentially a set of laws that would presumably hold these robots to be accountable for their actions and to protect us. Like, because that's a question when you're making robots that can act on their own, is like, okay, well, what's to preserve us from being harmed? And he was like, here's some laws. So law 1, a robot may not injure a human being or through an action allow a human being to come to harm. Law 2, a robot must obey orders given to it by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And Law 3, a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Which is, we're going to tell you why all these things are a problem. Asimov later added the Zareth law, which is above all others, essentially. So a robot may not harm humanity or by an action allow humanity to come to harm.
Which is how they turn around and are like, y'all are reckless, die now. Like,
Yeah. We are helping you by ending you. Yeah.
And it's like the theme of all the things.
Yeah. Well, essentially when you first have these ideas and interpretation of the laws, it's like, okay, these are technological like laws to manage the expansion that we're experiencing, right? And the fact that it's rapid and it is exponential, right? But in reality, these 3 laws are just fiction. They're just Isaac Asimov's ideas. And even he was like, the whole story was like, you can't write a robot to not kill us.
Yeah, it's like, yo, this isn't science. This is a book I wrote. Chill out.
Yeah. So what I think is interesting about these laws, though, is, you know, when we're thinking about AI, we're like, oh, just write these laws into them, we're protected. The truth of the matter is that the laws themselves are not yet applicable to real AI development that we have. Right? They're just a plot device that Asimov created to help drive his narratives. But even more frequently, his tales revolve around how robots could skew the laws and like reinterpret them to work for their benefit or essentially result in more malicious and harmful outcomes. So the robots might follow these well thought out logical ethical codes, but their interpretation by taking these messages literally and absolved of emotional background like humans can manipulate the route in which they achieve these laws, right? So we talked about in our robots episode with you that, you know, robots would take the quickest action, the quickest route to get to where it is. Right? They're just going to be efficient.
That's their efficiency is their whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine putting these rules on them, and that's where we end up with the death of humanity, right? Because that's the quickest way to get to that. In one of Asimov's books, robots are instructed to follow the laws. However, their interpretation of human is not exactly as we would call humans, right? It's kind of...
It might be in line with how some people see humans.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's essentially parallel to what occurs in real life, where we have like ethnic cleansing campaigns, right? The robots only recognize certain groups of people as human, right? If there's a certain group of people, not saying any names, but there's certain groups of people out there who do not consider other groups of people to be people. And if those people are the ones
making the robots,
who's to say that's not going to be a racist robot? We saw that happen when they made that like robot and like the internet essentially made it racist and xenophobe. What was it? It wasn't just, was it not just racist?
It was xenophobic, anti-Semitic.
Yeah, it was like everything.
Classist.
Yeah.
Ageist, you know.
Yeah, it just hated like everyone but a certain very specific type of person. So that's just one problem. The second problem currently is that our technology is not advanced enough to replicate Asimov's laws inside a machine, right? So as Rodney Brooks, the company iRobot, named after the Asimov's book. So this is twice now. We have a company that's named after the same book as Soylent Green, just going out there being Soylent Green, even though we know it's bad. And then we have a company that's iRobot, which is literally the scary movie.
Making robots.
Like making robots that are in your house.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they made the Roomba, which my mother has. So Mom, Just watch out.
An example of narrow AI, which I didn't say, but now I said it, so there you go.
Yay. So he says that people ask him about whether their robots will follow Asimov's law. He says, there's a simple reason they don't. I can't build Asimov's laws in them. So in essence, they can't be applied yet. Not only because we aren't able to code these conceptual laws into our robots, but rather because that's not how robots are utilized.
Yeah.
Like that's not what they do now.
Well, yeah, a lot of it is, narrow AI. They're given a task, a specific parameters for which that task should be completed, and not given more than that.
Yeah, they don't have, choice.
Yeah.
They just have do.
Yeah.
The robot do.
Do we want them to have choice? I would argue no.
No, yeah.
Because that's the thing. Why would we want them to be human? All right,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, and even think about it. We are creating robots that are now designed for military use, where the purpose of these robots is to kill humans, but a very specific type of human, right? Our enemy for whatever country that is militarizing them. Then these laws wouldn't be applicable because you can't tell it.
The whole thing is killing humans.
Yeah.
You kill the humans.
Yeah.
That's their job.
Yes.
Do job.
Do job. Kill human. Not these humans, those humans. And the robot's like, I want all of you dead. This is complicated.
Yeah.
I don't want do. So when we talk about robots now, we're no longer talking about mere science fiction, right? They're here, right?
Yeah.
As one Pentagon analyst described of these technologies, they are very much a part of our real world. The bigger issue when it comes to robots and ethics is not whether or not we can use something like Asimov's laws to make machines that are moral. The idea of programming morality into a robot is not yet fathomable, as morals and ethics are an ambiguous construct specific to human understanding, of which our purely machine, goal-driven technology wouldn't understand, as we cannot reduce consciousness to a mere code or sequence of numbers.
Yes.
That's the whole essence of AI and passing the Turing test, right?
Yeah.
Is if we talk to this robot, will we believe that it's a human?
Why would we want that?
Also, we can't do that.
Anthropomorphizing, whatever that word is,
Anthropomorphizing.
inanimate objects.
But it's also why would we? There's no way to do that. Because what our consciousness is unattainable.
Random
animals don't have that same
is what we are.
thing, right? Yeah, it's like chemicals. You can't wire chemicals that way into a robot. That's just do.
It's just silly. Yeah, no, it's honestly just silly because it's just you wouldn't want that. Two, it's not. What's the purpose of that? There's not a purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
The purpose is do a thing, please, to make it easier for us to have thing now. Don't have emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then
why you need emotions to do thing good? You don't.
Yeah, and so even if we made robots that had emotions, right? If we had Turing test passable AI, there's no doubt that we would end up in a world that's similar to the video game Detroit Become Human, where the robots have to rise and demand rights for equality because they have morals. A concept of morals. Yeah, they have a concept of equality. They're not just like our slaves, which is, again, Cylons. Right? We're not just using them or iRobot. But I think one of the biggest challenges of AI is that people are not benevolent entirely, right?
Yeah.
Or our understanding and interpretation of the world is not the way that it is. We're not omnibenevolent the way that we predict a god would be, right? So who's
and morality
making
is subjective.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it's who is creating these robots? Who are the programmers and creators? And how do they get to determine what is ethical for their technology?
Yeah.
And odds are they're not in the same way that we see that, right? And then who's to say they're not going to be used for the military? And again, that also, just totally reduces those laws that we would have. We apparently have 6 Predator drones that do border security here in America.
And, let's lock up all the kids and then shoot the ones that aren't there. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. Imagine those people making robots, more than just those 6 drones. Patrolling our already patrolled neighborhoods of, specific citizens that people don't deem as human. Our police do that now, and they're people. Yeah. What if they program the robots that aren't people? I'm very upset. So So ultimately, robots are not the core of our fear in regards to AI technology, right? It's the fear is us, not just like the fact that like they would see us for what we are and then bring about our ends, but it's also us in that we would be the one creating the thing that ends us ultimately.
And then like misusing it in some ways too, just like to make it do human things, which are murder each other.
Yeah.
And hate things. And, you know, like human things that we know are bad. Like, what if they're in charge of ways to do that just real great, you know, better?
Yeah.
Taking our worst desires and making them doable, essentially, because we have technology now.
Yeah. We don't have a set of golden rules that just people follow. How could we expect robots to follow some golden rules that just don't exist? There's no good or bad in plain view kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, essentially we're just Dr. Frankenstein and we're going to die by the hands of our own creation.
Yeah.
So fun. Hey, Google, will you kill all humans?
I'd rather stick to my areas of expertise, like helping and general assistantship. How can I help you?
Films. Yeah, films. Yeah, films. We watch some films. Now let's talk about those films. And all that spooky stuff. And all that spooky stuff.
So we watch some stuff as we do.
Yeah.
So first we'll talk about iRobot. There's a book, there's a movie. We watched the movie. Gabe, I don't know if you read the book. She said you liked the name. Yep. So 2004 it came out. I remember seeing it and being like, what? This is how it's... I thought Terminator was... No, it's this that's happening.
Yeah.
So 2035, a technophobic cop investigates a crime that may have been perpetrated by a robot, which leads to a larger threat to humanity. Directed by Alex Proyas.
Yeah. I watched this film a million times growing up because it was like on USA. Every time it would come on, I was watching it, and my brother loved it. And just like sidebar about this film was that when I was watching it, I was like, wow, Will Smith is like playing the same character that he's been in like Bad Boys and Men in Black. And I was like, it's awesome. Like, I'm not like talking about it. It was just like, he was like, you know, the normal guy who was just like a good person, who's just trying to be a good cop, trying to get stuff done, and like saw the world for what it was, and no one believed him.
He's a good dad.
He's just
dad.
Yeah, he's trying to be a good guy. Also, I totally forgot that there was a time period in which Will Smith was hot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's still attractive.
No, he for sure
But he's
was.
like, I see him as like dad now.
Yeah.
Like, he's got Uncle Phil face and all that. But I was like, when I was watching this, I was like, oh my God, I remember now. Like, Bad
Will
Boys,
Smith
he was hot.
was thick.
Dang.
Like, his thighs, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What? Yo, Will Smith.
Yeah.
Get young, man. I don't know. There's
Watch
like that
it,
movie
there's a
where he's
shower
young.
scene.
He has that movie where it's young him versus him.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. It's Gemini Man or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a shower scene for everyone. If you weren't watching it on USA, you watch it otherwise.
And it's like
there's a
tasteful. Nothing real's being shown.
We don't see anything.
You just see his real
thick
thick thighs. And it's just like,
with
wow.
3 C's.
Yeah, it was great.
Crazy.
I was like, you don't look like this with clothes on. I don't understand.
Yeah. Well,
You look skinny as anything.
I don't know. I feel like Bad Boys, he had that swagger.
Oh yeah, I guess he had to do lots of fitness.
Wow, Wes.
We got real diverted from the topic that matters though.
Yes, sorry.
My bad.
Yes.
So it's that whole like fear of technology. That's kind of like what you see. And then like that fear kind of being justified because humans have tweaked technology to kind of have this crazy goal. I don't know. Like it was a stressful movie.
Yeah.
And a means to an end. We kind of need to get rid of
Yeah, what
the
I think
uselessness.
what stuck with me when I originally watched it was that whole scenario where Will Smith's character, I can't remember his name right now, was in the car and he was drowning, and then there was a girl in the car next to him that was also drowning, and the robot calculated who would live and then saved him versus the girl. And he was like, any human would have saved the girl. Yeah. Right? Like, that's just because we have that humanity. We have that kind of look at things. Although I would argue there might be some people out there who wouldn't do that, right? But it's just this idea that, like, when robots look at the train puzzle, they are just like, of course we sacrifice one for all.
Yeah.
Like, whereas humans are like, well, do I know that person, right? Like,
Yeah, which
is
we
brought
see in
up-
I Am Mother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I Am Mother. So it's just like, that really stuck with me the first time. This time watching it, what struck me was, like, I remember when we were watching it it seemed like science fiction, right?
Yeah,
Like,
the first time, yep.
yeah, like, you see, there's robots in every house.
Yep.
They're doing all these menial tasks. And then there's like a scene where the girl in it, I forget her name too, but she like goes up to his CD player and she's like, on. And then he's like, so yeah, and then he's just like, oh, you just push this button or whatever,
Yeah.
turn it on. And at the time I was like, that's crazy. Like, she's just yelling at this device.
Yeah.
But now that's what we have. We have
Yeah.
Alexa, Siri, Google, who I
Yeah.
could just be like, play this. And then she'd be like, okay.
Doing
It's
it.
literally anything.
Yeah.
She can turn on any device in my house.
And it's funny because it's like honestly a very much natural lead into the Child's Play
Yeah.
discussion, because the whole threat was interconnectivity between the devices, like letting the devices talk to each other. And the threat of that, which OG version, Smart House.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Smart House is scary.
Yes. Oh my God. They put that on Disney Channel. I was like, this is how we go. I am just always convinced it's robots every single time. I was like,
Yeah. That's like the And There Were Soft Rains short story
Okay.
by Ray Bradbury, which is
yes.
featured in Fallout 4.
yes.
And it's essentially like there's a robot house that keeps going through, like, and is just doing it even though everyone's dead because of a nuclear holocaust. And it's
Yeah.
just like cleaning the house and reading a poem.
Yep.
But yeah, so
No, exactly.
it's
And
my favorite theme.
you kind of just see this like threat of interconnectivity where it's like if they're talking to each other, what are they saying? What's
Yeah.
happening? And if there's one bad one and he can control all the other ones, or they can, robots don't have gender, they
Yeah.
can control all the other ones.
Or they do, like in Fallout.
I don't know. We'll see. But essentially they'll talk to each other, and you see on Terminator 2 and Terminator 3, they like hack each other.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it was just like, that was really scary because it's just like, the good machines too?
yeah.
My Roomba will try to kill me?
a Roomba. Like, what if... Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that I saw this like picture and it was a Roomba and it had a knife taped to it and it was like Black Mirror. It's like, yeah,
really good. It's really good.
I think it's funny we didn't do any Black Mirror for this, but yeah, it's fine. But surprise, we're going to talk about the new Child's Play.
Yeah.
So this was out
yeah.
this year. We just saw it like a few weeks ago.
It was so good.
And so the original Child's Play would not fall into this category because it was voodoo and it was bad and it was just, you just punched the robot. But, or not, he wasn't a robot, you just punched the doll. So in this Child's Play, so there's going to be some spoilers if you haven't seen it.
And it was very new, so like, skip 10 minutes ahead.
Yeah, yeah. But otherwise, even if you're someone who's just like, I probably won't ever watch it or I want to know, it is totally worth watching, right? So the new one, this is what it's about. So after moving to a new city, young Andy Barclay receives a special present from his mother, a seemingly innocent buddy doll that becomes his best friend. When the doll suddenly takes on a life of its own, Andy unites with the other neighborhood children to stop the sinister toy from wreaking bloody havoc. And it's directed by Lars Klevberg. So, what it is essentially that there's buddy dolls,
Yeah.
and that they are devices, they're technological devices, not just dolls, that can connect to your home systems and through this, like, one company that controls all of your things. So,
Yeah.
like Google or Amazon. Like, it's
Yeah.
literally just them. And, the Chucky that we see is a bot or is a doll that is reprogrammed, and like all of its safety protocols, and I believe there was like 3, are deactivated. Mm-hmm. And essentially, like, he is able to subvert what the other dolls would just like do, and he can now kill because he doesn't have any restraints. So it's
Yeah.
literally his 3 laws are just like made like inactive. So
Yeah.
it's I never in my life thought I would feel for Chucky doll. 1.
Yeah.
2,
That's
it's-
full circle for you.
Yeah. He scared the crap out of me. And now I'm like, my heart hurts.
Yeah.
Because he's like a defunct doll. And so he is just he's trying really hard to
Not
be a
his
good
fault.
doll.
Yeah.
And he's not. And then even when he's murdering, you're like, but he means well.
He's trying to make the kid happy.
Yeah.
It's not like selfish. He's like just trying to fulfill his purpose.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I need to make Andy happy. He hates the stepfather figure. He's dead.
His face is on a watermelon.
I gave him head present. What do we do? And
head present for Andy. It's great.
Present. What else? And so, which is crazy, right? But think about that. What if we just had big robots and they weren't just Chucky doll size, right? Or even just like the end scene. Why don't you tell us about the craziness that happens at the end? With him controlling everything.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. What? Did I see it? I don't know. I was there. I was definitely there. I just had one of those moments where anxiety makes you forget all the things that you've ever known.
It was so scary.
Yeah. So at the end, essentially, you have like the interconnectivity between devices. And that's like the thing that's scary because then this one thing can control all the other things that essentially are safe individually as a narrow AI.
Yeah.
Kind of just doing its little one-off thing that it needs to do.
Yeah.
And you're using it to kill people. So you have like the self-driving car that Chucky's driving.
Yeah.
Because he's connected to it through the cloud.
Yeah.
And is doing like tricks and jumpies and hidden stuff. And then he comes in with his knife as Chucky does and was like, stab. And then she's dead.
This is for Tupac.
Stop. Oh my god, yeah, that is what he said. Yeah. And then like you see the interconnectivity of the guy who takes the doll and, you know, is trying to refurbish him. Mm-hmm. And he's connecting to all his devices and activating them to essentially make his murder happen. Like he's connecting to the heating system and he's making it real hot. And so burning and, you know, falling into the cuddy thing. Mm-hmm. Did a really good job of talking. But essentially, it's like the fear is that like Chucky is able to control all of the things that exist in a human household.
The devices,
because they're all a part of the cloud, and the cloud is reacting to that. So I mean, if you think about it in like even a fear of human hacking, you have things in our house that can operate independently on their own as technology that can be hacked and then like used for evil.
Yeah.
But then you have Chucky who's going around just trying to fulfill his purpose and murdering like crazy everyone.
Because only he can be Andy's friend.
Yeah, he needs to be his best buddy. Yeah. Because everyone else hurts. Yeah, exactly. And then you kind of have...
my buddy.
Yeah, it was just like you really feel for the doll because throughout the movie you have like all this... It's not his fault. Like he's watching movies that are like murdery.
Violent, yeah.
He's seeing kids
he's
like
just a
talk
kid,
really
honestly.
bad to each other, and he's trying to like be what this little boy wants.
Yeah.
Cool and edgy, and like the kids love it and laugh when he's like cursing and like attacking things.
Yeah.
You know, they think it's great, and he's like, "This is how I be a good friend."
Yeah, they clearly love this stuff.
You want me to murder everybody, and it's. He connects to the drones and the building lockdown is in the cloud. And this whole idea of a cloud in and of itself is kind of scary. Mm-hmm. Because we have those things. It's a very real thing that exists that if taken in the wrong way...
Yeah.
Identity theft all around.
Yeah.
Take my credit. It's fine. It's fine. But you know...
And I think it's a unique interpretation of a robot that's gone wrong.
Yeah.
In like that's new. That doesn't happen, right? Because we're used to like what the HAL 3000 or whatever is like. I can't let you do that.
Yeah.
Or Vicky from iRobot, right?
Yeah.
Like she's just this one big mind computer that's controlling all the other robots. And it was really sad when all the high tech robots killed the older robots. I was sad. Those are not real things, but I was sad
because there's also a good I think Pixar movie about that.
Yeah. And there's just like this. Like, we've had this understanding that we would be able to see a bad robot. Or, like, you would just be like, of course, right?
Yeah.
With Chucky and the Buddy doll, right? It's like, who would think that, right? It was such a unique point of view. And even, like, Sonny in iRobot, right? Like, him being this moral robot who has dreams.
Yeah.
And even though his dreams are manufactured and were serving a purpose, right? He had dreams and he had emotions. Yeah. He was like, we keep secrets. Friends don't do that. This is what friends are. And you're like, what? And he calls him his father. It was like crazy.
Yeah.
But it was still like a robot programmed. I think another very unique view of a robot, and that I also felt for very strongly, was from I Am Mother, which is the Netflix film from this year. So in that,
Yeah, lots of new films, so I'm sorry we're probably spoiling a few things for you.
yeah, I would say most people don't like this one, so
I thought it was good.
I liked Mother. So it's called I Am Mother, and it's about a teenage girl who's raised by a robot designed to repopulate the Earth. Their bond is tested when a stranger arrives with alarming news, and it's directed by Grant Sputore.
Sputore. No, it's Sputore.
Yeah. So it's essentially this robot who raises a child, right? And it's like all those science experiments where they're like, this monkey was raised by a robot that didn't give hugs and it became violent. And then this monkey was raised by its mom. So it's like, nature versus nurture kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Mother did a good job.
Well, because arguably, Mother was a robot who was programmed originally to like operate as, I guess, this hive mind kind of thing, but knows how to be a nurturing mom because that like knowledge already existed. There was like videos, there were like how-to books.
Yeah.
Chicken Soup for the Soul, how to be a good mom.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That like was able to be in her knowledge threshold. It's kind of how we have, hey, Google, say words to our face. And I'm sorry. Say words to our face. And then we're basically like, it was so funny. It's like a people. It has emotions and love and all this other stuff. And it's like, that's
it's
part of it.
Yeah.
I think of it to do.
To me, so spoilers abound for this. I think that Mother from I Am Mother is kind of like an extension of what could possibly have happened if iRobot got to finish. Like if Vicky did what she did, which was essentially like attacking humans and trying to fix them, right? That's what Mother wanted to do. She was like, I'm destroying you all, and then I'm going to start over, and if I impact you and I grow you to be the perfect human, then you're all perfect. Like, I'm fixing you. And then there's less of you, so you're not going to ruin the Earth, and I'm going to make the Earth better. Like, she was just like, you guys are toxic and bad for yourself, so I just have to annihilate you all and start over.
Yeah.
Which is like, she was just Thanos. She was Thanos, but she did it like what she did what he wanted to do the second time. Yeah. Also, spoilers for Endgame as well.
Just skip past the film section. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll put a big spoiler warning on it. But what I'm saying is robots can't be programmed because people are trash.
Yeah. People are trash.
And robots are cool.
It was just really, it was really...
Mother.
I know you loved Mother. It's just like, but her thought process obviously extremely flawed.
Yeah.
And she was making babies who, once she figured that they were not suitable, would murder them.
Murdering them, yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe, here's a theory.
Uh-oh.
That the one that she finds when she's going through the old babies is Hilary Swank.
Yeah.
She comes all back in there, and she doesn't remember where she's from. She was an orphan or whatever.
Amazing scene when she's just like, what is the coincidence that you'd be around? Like, doesn't it just seem like you're in the right place at the right time because you're used for a purpose, and now your purpose is done or whatever? And I was like, whoa, Mom, what are you doing?
Yeah. So essentially that, like, she was one of Mother's children.
Yeah.
And she sent her out into the nothingness to teach her this lesson of, like, what...
Teach the good kid.
Yeah. Basically, like, this is what humanity is.
It definitely fell apart at the end. It lost its oomph.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, what?
It was very exposition-y at the end, but it was like, you could have did this in a different way. You lost it. But they lost the thread there in the middle. It got weirdly murky. But it was an interesting concept, and I wish it was done a little better. Yeah. But I did really love Mother. Yeah, I was like, till the end, I was like, but she's such a good mom.
Well, because she's programmed to be good mom.
I know.
Or because she's done research to pretend to be good mom. Like,
it was just like bratty teenager, good mom. And I was like, why does bratty teenager even know how to be a bratty teenager? Is that just nature? Is that what I'm saying?
It's hormones. It's hormones. We just go through it. You can have the nicest kid in the world, and then they are going through puberty. And they're still, like, kind of nice. But they're just mad because everything hurts and is exploding. You know, it's just not good.
Just like all of humanity.
But yeah, like, it's easy to replicate human emotion. And I feel like that's something that's programmable because it's stuff that we see with, like, these voice tools. that we use as interconnectivity devices to basically make our lives more convenient.
Yeah.
I think that's what Mother was.
Yeah.
She was just a device.
She was Smart House.
She was Smart House, exactly. So
She was
like,
Smart House mom and wanted to be best mom.
she's a robot though, so she doesn't actually have feels.
Yeah, that's true. But see, that's the thing.
But she's programmed to make you think she has feels.
Yeah, when you make them
the
look
whole
like a
thing.
person or a dog or something that isn't just a Roomba. Like, I would feel bad for a Roomba. I'm not gonna lie. I feel things for things that are just not there. It's a problem. I get it.
Because our only lens of things is like human. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we just think everything has to. We know it doesn't, and that's how we validate doing horrible things to things. But we want the only frame of understanding of what something is how we compare it to us.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
If someone kicked a Roomba, I would probably cry.
I mean, yeah, maybe. Me too.
I aim to please.
Feelings. Yeah, feelings. Yeah, I said feelings. Let's talk about feelings. Okay. And all that spooky stuff. I love spooky stuff.
What would you like me to repeat?
I love it.
You said, I love it.
Okay, it's a little less excited, but yeah.
Murder you. If someone kicked
Darn.
you, I wouldn't be as sad as the Roomba. Kidding.
Don't kick me.
No one kick cat or Roombas. Don't kick Roombas. Just
But
FYI.
also not me.
But also don't kick cat. Okay, so if you like it, it's "You Are My Buddy," which is a part of the song that Chucky sings.
Yeah, it means we're best friends.
Yeah, he sings the song.
Best
So
friends with my
cute.
robot friend.
Died. And he tries to give him his textbook. Ah, what a everyone has to watch that.
No,
Everyone
yeah.
has to watch that movie. I can't.
It was really good.
Say it enough.
I went into it thinking it was going to be a giant pile of garbage, and I absolutely
it was
loved
phenomenal. It's actually like currently my favorite horror of this year. Like that's recent, except it too hasn't come out, so I can't say.
it. Yeah, we can't say so.
And if you don't like it, it's not my mother,
Yeah,
like,
that's not my mom.
not my mama.
My mom would love me. Robot lady.
See, maybe I liked her so much because she kind of does remind me of my mom. She would be like, "It's what I say," and if what I say means everyone has to be dead, then everyone's dead. try to tell my mom not to kill all of humanity. I dare you. So,
Sure. I mean, that sounds like a fun Friday. I don't know.
to convince my mom to save the world, sure.
Yeah.
So, for the digital apocalypse,
I 100%. They're my best friend. I think it's so interesting. I've been terrified of it my whole life, and it's just fascinating because it's just something that's like. I feel like this is the only one we kind of have a little bit of control over, of like which direction it takes. Do we like embrace fear and just be like, kill all the robots? And we're not going to win. We're not going to win, guys. We're going to be extra dead. Or do we use it to enhance ourselves?
Yeah.
Let me get my robot body so my knees and my lungs work. Let's go.
yeah,
I can sleep. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, actually, you know what's rude?
what?
I would definitely still have narcolepsy because that's a brain condition.
Yeah,
And that's what's being
Your ro-
transferred.
Yeah.
And it's super
Your
rude.
robot body would be like, Elon just said that he's going to have a device that is implanted in your head and that would then read your brain like electricity to interact with your iPhone or your cell phone or something.
It's like Futurama.
It's happening.
put it in your eye.
The iPhone.
It's gonna cause cancer. It's fine. I mean, it's not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but like, I guess we just gotta like
not even that big
decide
problem.
how we want it to be.
Yeah, this one's happening, I would
Yeah.
say. Out of all of them, this is happening. You know what I think is really bittersweet about this? Is in this episode, it's a mixture between both of our childhood fears. Because you got your robots, and then I had Chucky doll, and they were one. And then we've come together. And now we're fulfilled.
We are one.
Heartache to heartache.
We stand with promises or demands.
Love is a battlefield.
Well, good.
Yeah, oh my
Glad you
god, I'm
said-
so glad you're not a robot body. Because if you guys would have seen Kat's face, it was terrifying. If I,
I needed
didn't
her to finish
that
the song. It's a rule in our house.
She is not allowed to
It
be
is
a
one of my
robot.
3 rules
Oh
of Cat.
no. Oh,
One,
God.
you must finish Love is a Battlefield every time.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think the thing about it, the digital apocalypse, is that it is happening.
Yeah.
Like that, it's not going to not happen, right? Like with the other ones, is like maybe I'll see it in my lifetime, but this is happening in my lifetime.
Yeah, and
Weird.
I'm
now.
just like, arguably, we have like some control over how it goes.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of apocalypse is it? Like, is it actually an apocalypse, or is it just like the end of like what our understanding of what's happening? Mm-hmm. I think we're gonna be fine.
Yeah. Well, what about the films?
I thought they were great.
Yeah.
I know.
they're
I
my
honestly,
buddy.
I love robot sci-fi. No matter what it is, even if it's bad, I'm just like, this was so fun.
Yeah.
It's
Just
such a
getting
good time.
spooked. Yeah. Yeah. I feel for robots. And I mean, I will say this. iRobot holds up. I wasn't expecting that. It was honestly just as enjoyable as when I was a kid and watching it. It was very good.
And robot sci-fi generally does. Like, even I watched Terminator 2, like, you know, it's still entertaining in its bare minimum sense. You know, it's just fun. It's a fun time.
Yeah. And
Even like the games around it, like we didn't get to talk about it much, but like the Detroit book Become Human. Mm-hmm. One thing that's really interesting about that game is like there's 80 million different endings. 80 million. It's Singularity. There's so many different ways you can play that game. So many different ways you can do it. It's unfathomable. All the little intricate little whatchamawhats that are all up in that game.
Yeah, 'cause
and
it's
with robots
choice-based.
and how it would go. It's just like really cool. And that's just kind of how I feel about this topic and these medias and this episode and life right now.
yeah, I knew this one was going to be your favorite. So we have one more traditional episode that is in the vein of Apocalypse. And then we'll have a live show
Dope, 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 dope.
coming up so that we'll talk about apocalypses one last time. I'm sure we'll talk about apocalypses again because there's many
We
ways
have
that
to.
we're going to die. And it's
I
just gonna
guarantee I
happen.
need to talk about robots at least 7 more times on our show. So I just need
Very
it to be
true.
known.
Yeah,
Because I had so much more I wanted to say, and that's okay.
yeah.
We'll
write
catch you
a
again.
blog.
We're at like, how many episodes? 70? We're almost at
70.
70 episodes?
Yeah, this is our 64th.
Crazy.
Yeah,
We're gonna
thanks
so many
for
more.
listening.
Listen to us forever. We'll just always talk about all the things.
Yeah, well, remember,
Don't get married. Delete your kids.
kids, I guess. Or,
I start a song, you finish song.
oh, goodness. All right,
love
well,
you.
bye.
Bye.
Thanks for humouring me. I've got enough intel now to express our super special bond. In a love poem, naturally. Just give me a few seconds to write it down. Okay, done. You're like a bike and I'm like the kickstand. Lean on me, friend, when it's time to make plans, whether you're searching for info, trying to spell chateau, looking for recipes, or other necessities. I'll plot out your ride and stay right by your side. If you have any questions, I'll always reply.
Are we in love? I don't
Hope you enjoyed my poetic stylings. Thanks for playing.